let's face it, most financial books are boring. Let's go ahead and say it. I mean, they're like good Valiums. They're guaranteed to put you to sleep. But not this book, How Money Works. And I'm joined now by the author, Steve Siebold, joins us now. And Steve, you're a different kind of cat. In our little brief conversation during the commercial break, I could tell you have personality, unlike most financial experts. That's kind of how your book works, right? If I can keep you entertained, I can teach you a little bit. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. My co-author and I, Tom Matthews, wrote the book really for a 14-year-old kid, John. So the average person can really understand the basics of financial literacy that we don't learn in school.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about those other books real quickly, though. It seems to me that they're written for other financial experts, and they go over my head, so they lose me after about a chapter or two. But you guys decided to make this very applicable and information that people can understand. I love that philosophy.
Completely. You're completely right. The old joke in the financial world is the financial books are written for other financial people to read them because no one can understand them other than them. You have to be a financial expert to understand most financial books. And the financial industry wants it that way, John, because the more ignorant we are, the richer they get.
All right, let's talk a little bit about, you said it's the missing piece that no one ever taught you. So I know this is probably more involved and it's going to be a little bit more lengthy than the time that we have, but some of those missing pieces, what is missing as far as our financial knowledge?
Well, just like basic things, like again, things that you can understand at maybe 13 or 14 years old, like compound interest. If you ask 100 people on the street to explain compound interest, they may say they understand it. But when you ask them, the studies show that they don't really understand it. And it's basically interest that accrues upon interest and that, gathers on interest. But it's a major concept because if you're saving, it works for you. If you're borrowing, it works against you.
7 money milestones. A little overview of what exactly is 7 money milestones and what information should we gather from that?
Well, that's really the core of the book, is really learning what the 7 money milestones are. And the first one's probably the most important, and that's just to get a basic financial education. You don't have to learn how to trade derivatives on Wall Street. We're not talking about major high finance. For most of us, all we need are the basics. So you want to educate yourself financially. So when you work with a financial professional, which I recommend, you understand what you're purchasing and what you need and what you don't need.
We all want to be financially secure, and I think there comes a time in your life, like where I am, that I worry, am I too late to make a financial difference in my retirement? Is it ever too late, Steve?
No, it certainly helps to start young. Obviously, we all know that, except, of course, youth is wasted on the young, as we always say. So, no, it's not really too late. It depends, whatever age you are, there are products and there are services that can really help you. But again, you have to understand what you're investing in, what you're buying. But no, it's not too late. And most of us are behind, of course, for various reasons. But we need to start today, not yesterday. And getting a basic financial education is the first step.
I know there's a lot of misconceptions, untruths about finances, and we all hear them every day. But if you could give me one that say a lot of people believe this and it's just not true, what would that be, Steve?
That's a great question, John. I would say probably that money is difficult to earn, because of what you just said, that you're starting late. A lot of us are starting late with saving for retirement and that type of thing. And people say, well, how am I going to save myself into retirement? Well, you're probably not. You're probably going to have to earn more money. But money is not really difficult to earn in a free market economy because it's based on solving problems. And the bigger problem you solve, the more money you make. And that's really all it comes down to. So maybe looking at entrepreneurship could be a viable solution for many of us. In the next segment, Steve, we're going to talk a little bit about differences that couples have when they talk about finances, husband and wives. And, we all know that that's sometimes the source of arguments when you start talking about finances and moving forward. Why is that? Why is that a common, a confrontational conversation between couples? What do you think that arrives from? John, if I was smart enough to answer that question, I'd be a billionaire, I'll tell you right now. You have to be married for 36 years. You have those conversations. There's that push and pull with money. But to seriously answer your question, I think my theory is, I certainly don't know, but I think that maybe it's because we have these different beliefs about money. And so when those beliefs clash, then conflict ensues and everything starts on a downward spiral. All right, so in the next segment, we're going to talk about couples. But before we go, Steve, I want to tell everyone, I think they already understand the fact that it's very easy to understand that you're fun to talk to, you're easy to listen to, and your book reads much the same way. So for folks who are watching now and they want to get a hold of your book, where should they go? Amazon.com, and they can also visit howmoneyworks.com.
All right. Once again, Steve Siebold. Coming up in the next segment, yes, we'll talk about couples and the differences they have about money and how you can actually ease that conversation, ease into the conversation, and actually come up with viable solutions. Next on Wait 3 Listens Live.